Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to discuss about the consideration, which is the fourth C's in the sequence as we are discussing on. So consideration is basically from the word consider. We need to consider our audience. We need to consider the people for whom we are basically producing our message, in what situation they are, what is their age, what are the other things, if we want to communicate effectively, for effective communication. So consideration, in simple words, if I want to define, I can say that it is like putting your feet in other shoes and try to understand the real situation of the other one for whom you are going to produce message. It's like, mean, you are placing yourself on the place of the other who you are treating to, just like as you'd like to love to be called with respect, so everyone would like to be. It is also called you attitude. You attitude means we should not have I attitude. We should, whenever we are producing the message, we should show such an approach where we are basically focusing on our audience and we are going to provide him any kind of advantage. So the simple thing is we need to see the material from the point of view of our reader or our listener. If we are producing a message and we are thinking that our reader would understand in the same way as I am delivering, so probably it won't be the case. It may be the case, but in all scenarios it can't be. So overall, if you look at the consideration, by this point I can also explain, after discussing this point, I can say that consideration basically counter one hurdle of communication, which was stereotyping. In stereotyping, you are taking a generalized view. You are not considering each and every part of your audience. You are not considering each and every bit of situation. So you are basically generalizing a view. Whereas in consideration, you are looking for each and everything individually, and you are having a kind of you approach instead of I one. So whenever I'm talking to you, if I am speaking in such a way that you are being addressed and you will get advantage, you would be ready to listen. But if I am speaking in such a way that I am getting to get the advantage, I am going to get this thing, then you would say that he is doing all this for his own advantage. So this is another aspect. So you try to give the benefit to your reader by your message. The same thing, the same idea you can convey slightly in a different way when you have you attitude. So you can use consciously few positive words like favorably, like these kind of words where your audience will feel comfortable. So we'd like to go through few example like this one. Here the first red one, as I've already told you, the red one we have used for avoiding this kind of thing. I am delighted to announce that we will be extending our hours to make shopping more convenient. Instead of this one, if you are going to use this green one with you attitude, that you will be able to shop in evenings with the extended hours. You will feel that this is a kind of benefit for me. Rather than here, you will feel that he is trying to increase his sale. That's why he's doing this thing. So you can make the comparison of both of these statements and you can come to know how consideration, how you attitude is making the same message more effective, more appealing to the other one. Then let's go for another example here. Being regretting on something, or if you look at the refusal in the speech acts, when you are refusing someone, so this is a more tricky thing, because when you are refusing, it's a very harsh thing. But if you can make this harsh thing polite and favorable through your words, that it sounds much good. As you can see here in this sentence, you failed to enclose your check in the envelope. Here we are putting the blame on our audience. Definitely he is to be blamed, but in effective communication, to keep the communication and to keep the relation long. Rather, we can use the check was not enclosed. So here is this one is active voice and this one is passive voice. Here is better you use passive voice, by which you are not blaming on your audience. Here you are blaming on your audience, so you can feel in such a situation which one is better for you, if you are being addressed like this one or you are being addressed like this one. So this is consideration, we are keeping in view the feeling of our receiver. Then move on to the another one. Sometimes there are few words which are not pleasant, few kind of statements which are not pleasant, so we need to avoid that. If we are saying like it is impossible to open an account for you today, for example, you have no time, there are some restrictions, you can't open, but rather than bluntly saying that it is impossible to open account for you today, rather we can say him and we can bring a hope in his heart by saying that as soon as your signature card reaches us, we will gladly open your account. So this is more positive. This is how consideration and you attitude is working all along. Here you can see another example. Mean, if someone is asking for refund and you are bluntly saying that we don't refund, so this is very harsh. Already he's on a negative side, he's not having good impression when he's trying to refund something. But if you are saying we refund when the returned item is clean and reusable, resaleable, that's better. But if you are saying bluntly and harshly, we don't refund if the returned item is soiled and unusable, that's a bit harsh. And here we have we attitude. Then another thing I'd like to mention in this example, you attitude and I or we attitude doesn't mean only the words like you and we. Okay, like in this example, if you are focusing only on words like I and we, here we have we attitude, here we are using you word, but it's not quite simple. Probably you may be misguided with the thing that we always need to use the word you in our messages. But this is not only related to the pronoun you, this is a general concept. You should think in a broader way that like in this sentence we are using we, but here we are using no pronoun. Here in this example we are not using you. Here even we are avoiding the word you to avoid the blame. So it's depends on the situation, it not depends on the word. You don't need to focus on the word like you or we, you need to focus on the real impression which is given by the pronouns like we and you, and you can use accordingly. So don't entangle with the only pronouns, just try to go for the idea. As we have discussed, communication is about the idea. So your message should convey or should give such an impression that has you attitude. It is not necessary that you should use the word you in that sentence, so please keep it in your mind. Then we should move further here, like this one. Everyone wants to listen the words like favorably, cordially, benefit, happy, help, generous, loyal, prayer, thanks, and considerable. Whereas everyone would dislike the word like blame, complain, for, negligence, regret. So you wherever you can avoid these words and you can replace the other words which can reduce the effect or intensity of harshness, you should use that one. So you should have you attitude and consideration. Hopefully you got all the things. Even if you have any query you can ask me. So far typically we are going to review whatever we have studied in this week. We have studied about completeness, we have studied about conciseness, and we have studied about consideration. And we have gone through all these things. Even if you have any query, you can discuss with me. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks. Allah Hafiz.